Hi friends, at this page there are several visitors questions. We'll try to answer them, and in this page we sum the multiple columns row wise. So there are three different subjects, so all the subjects marks we can add it up and display it. So the tutorial is on that particular aspects and you can read that. Let's go to the straight to the question answers part. So questions part we will try to answer them. One question is how to calculate total mark difference between max, min and annual. This is the mark difference between two rows of data. So let's go to workbench. No, here, okay. I'll write it again. Select mark. Select mark. Okay, this is the sum we have to use. So this is a different table. So select science plus math plus social. Sum is as total from say student sum where id equal to, let's say, 5. Now this, for easy understanding, we'll put it within brackets. Now minus, let me just copy this, paste it here. Say I'll go for another one. I am just randomly picking up. ID is 7. So if you want a name to be there, then name equal to, within quotes, the name you can specify. I am specifying ID now to easy to identify. So these are the two records. Now I'll give a select command here. Select. So fine. Now let's see how it will end up, and let's run this code. There is okay, here I have missed the end here, so I am not getting. Let's see. So 19 is the difference between these two. So like that, any difference we can find out. Different in mark between the rows, any rows we can take it. Next question, how to find top score in a table. I mean, I should display, okay, the top, the number one scorer. Fine, we'll use select ID, name, then let's say science plus math plus social as total from student, order by total. Now here I will use DESC because I want exclusively it should be in descending order, not in the ascending order, because I want the highest mark, not the lowest one. Then I will use limit starting from 0 to 1. Let's end this. Now let's run. Something is wrong here. By total, order by total, DSC, limit 0 to 1. Fine, this should return me unknown column science. Okay, science CI. Okay, it is in the student. Sorry, this table should be student sum. Fine. You can see this 247. This is the highest mark holder. Or among the total, we have put it in the order of decreasing, so highest to lowest, and use it. Suppose if I'll remove this DESC from here, it will be now reverse. So from the lowest, it will start to the end. So you can see 154 is the lowest. How to add two different fields of the same table? Fine, it is like we have added 3 here. You can see there are 3 different columns we have added. So the same thing can be, you just add up science or math or social or anything. How to multiply 2 columns and set the sum as value of another column in SQL server. Okay, the query remains same. So 2 columns, the same way we can multiply and set the sum as value of another. You have to use the update command here. Right now we are not discussing exactly on the update part of it. So there is a link where it is how you will insert the sum of the marks in a different table. So that is because many questions came, that link is there. And if you want it in the same table, then the update command will work. Update column, new column, set value equal to this column 1 multiplied by column 2. How to two colors, set the sum as, okay, that is how it will work. I am not included update in this particular page, it is there in the another page, the link is available. Okay, but there is a way to add these values to through query. Select name, social, math as total from student 3 where total is greater than 200. No, this won't work. I understand what you require, but let's try this in a different way. What probably you want is all the marks more than 200 should display. Let's say select ID, name, then science plus math plus social as total from student sum. This is my table name. Where now I will say science plus math plus social is greater than 200 or greater than equal to 200. Let's try this. Fine, you got it, all the rows greater than 200. So here you cannot use in the where condition, you have to specify the sum here. Math function in OOPS PHP using program, we'll see it in PHP section. How do you take the total and insert the total into another column named total for each row? This exactly it's available, the link is available. There is another tutorial where you submit of all the column values and insert it into another table. Insert into table, then so we will take the values from that. That is exactly the tutorial is available. The link is available in the description. Now let's go how to calculate percentage difference between date in two tables. We'll discuss it in our date section. Definitely. How to create a formula to calculate data integer from different table in SQL database server. How to create formula to calculate data integer. You can take the same data and calculate it. Query remains same, it's a SQL or MySQL. How to get two max value from single table. This will do. Two max values means this, before that we have used this query. Now let's copy this query, paste it here again. Here we'll say instead of 1 we'll make it 2. Now let us run this. You can see the next one is also 154 is the first highest, next highest is 160. So this is available. Sorry, here it is order by, I had to keep DESC because decreasing trend. So decreasing means it is from the first highest, next highest will come up. Let's run this. Order, sorry, this DESC has to go here. DESC. Fine. Let's run this again. Yeah. So first highest is 247, next highest is 237. You can keep on changing third or fourth slot or 5th to 10th position. You can change this limit value and display the in that particular numbers of records. I need to display all values from table and also calculate all column value and displaying in separate row. Name, English, math. Okay, for English, fine. You want at the end count to 30, 50. Okay, this will do. What we'll do is come here. Okay, select say ID. Now say name. Now social, math, science from student sum. Here it is, student sum. Let me just take 5 records. So ID is less than 5. Fine, there is nothing great in that. Let's just once run this and see. Fine. So this is 5 records have come up. Now what I will do, I will just use a union command. Now here I will say select first let me give the string, so blank here, select name also I'll give blank. Now I'll say sum social. Now I'll say sum as math, some science, from student sum. Same condition I have to give, otherwise it will be other ID is less than 5. Now this is fine. Let's try and see. Yeah, you can see at the end this sum is displayed here, 257 306 267. Now in this also what I will do, I will, instead of simple giving this thing, I will say count ID. Now this will count the total ID for me. Now in place of name I kept it blank, I will say total. Let's see. Yeah, here at the last you see the total ID is 4, because this is not ID 4, this is the total number of records it is saying. So I will just increase it a bit. So let me say it is 7. Let me say here 7. So 7 records. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now the social, the sum is here, this sum is here, this sum is here. This is the total number of records here. Okay, next question. Not getting. I have a table with names, so I want to show the name depend on total mark. Name depend on where total mark is greater than. We have all seen that what is the greater than 200 marks, all we have displayed. Same way only. Column total in student. How can I insert the sum in total column like you do in Excel? Exactly, this is what we have done now. With column total in student, how can I insert the sum in total column like you do in Excel? Anywhere you want this, the same thing, the sum you can by using a union query. Now next question, how can I add 3 columns of 3 tables based on their ID? Means that from 3 tables add the amount where ID 111, same add ID. Okay, fine. So these are joining 3 tables where ID of table 1 equal to ID of table 2 equal to ID of table 3, then sum of the 3 fields. That part will take up in our joining of tables, not here under this. So linking of multiple tables based on a where condition, where ID of table 1 ID equal to table 2 ID equal to table 3 ID, that we will take it up. How to display total price of product but excluding 2 different products? Fine, you can do that. Let us come here, select, say I am just copying this one from here. Why to again type it? Probably you want to exclude here where ID, say not in, let me say not in, let me say 5 7 8. So rest everything you get it, or you want that it should sum up, then instead of the comma you put plus mark here, plus as total, where ID not in 578. Fine, let's try this. So this is the 1 2 3 4 6 9 and 10, because 578 is removed. So and you can not in, if you suppose you want some other category to be included, not in, then you give 57 in place of ID, you use this ID, in place of UZ you just use the name, also name or a category, and not in. If you are using a string, you have to give quotes and all. Let's come back. This is a big PHP code, we can't answer. How to grade from marks using PHP? Okay, it's added also at the top, the grade part, it is included. How do you select, for an example, the best 3 subject of a student in a row from about 5 subjects? Class position may not always depend on the sum of all subject, but could also depend on the best 3, etc. Kindly assist on that also. Fine, this is a good question. Now what happens that you may have to select the highest of these 3 subjects. So for that reason you will be using greatest. Greatest means it will pick up the row wise highest. Suppose in science, math and social, these three subjects, what is the highest mark the student got, that you can use in greatest. That we have included here also now. But what he wants is that best of two. There is, by the way, I will just mention it, there is another tutorial in it is mentioned that in a class test, suppose the student has appeared two tests, the best test will be considered for for overall ranking. So in all the months, that you have to use the left join and left join, then you take the maximum of that, then combine those two tables. We will not discuss that, but there is exclusively a tutorial is available on that particular. But here you, what I understand is, here you want that in 5 subject you want the best 3. For that we have to use if case. The case, you must understand that how to get the highest 2 numbers of out of 5. In that way you have to use case condition. Case, if subject 1 is greater than subject 2, less than subject 3, then use the if condition to get the h1 and h2. So that we cannot include it here, but definitely we will create another page with that, because this is a lengthy answer. Okay, how do you have to use PHP code to get the grade, and the same query can be modified case to list a grade of the student? This part, okay, this is what I have answered, and already we have added it. Sum and get 5 highest value limit. Column 7, select sum of column 1 as sum of column 2 as B, F, and get 5 highest value. Fine, we get it, all the sum will get. Yes, use the greatest to get the first 5 and highest value limiting 5. Again you have to use the and get 5 highest. That then simple, just use the limit query, limit with order by the mark, and use that. Okay, next one. How can a total score be ranked and stored in another table? This link is available. Store the sum in it's exactly, it is there, and store sum in different table. It is already available. How do you position student, or rather how do you rank them in scenario where they tie, that is 75? Okay, this in the order by thing, you can give a different column also. So priority first column, priority second. Say mark is the first priority, 72, 72, 72. Then mark, comma, name. Say in that case the next will be among the name will be considered. If that is also say equal, also name is also same, then you can give a third one as ID, because ID is a unique, that you can give. Suppose you don't want to give everything remains same, then it is up to the MySQL, but it is better always you specify, because your logic also should say if 72, if there is a tie, what way I will decide. So that logic you can build it up, because it allows you order by with multiple columns. Okay, that's what I explained. Fine, but I want to insert result from Excel sheet into database which is stored different format. For every student I want to add marks in the same column, title, marks. How to achieve that? Now this Excel transporting MySQL to Excel, there are plugins are available. This even MySQL gives that. You add that plugin, it will be all your data can be imported from Excel or can be exported to a Excel page. But it is better when you have a bulk of data from, you want to shift from MySQL to Excel. There is a tutorial here also available. I'll put it in the description. It is a good practice to use such SQL query like this in or PHP, or use PHP to do the calculation. It depends on situation, but if it can be done by SQL, better to do it by SQL. The reason is a portability. Say once your database you have integrated the query inside that, let it be PHP or Python or Java, whatever it is, you can use it. But if you are put it in PHP side only, then you may face a problem when you shift it to other code. And another reason is, if it can be done in MySQL area side, it is better to be done. But I know everything is not possible. You may need some user input, sessions and all, so you can do that. Query is better. There is a plugin available. You end query with okay. There are some. how can you calculate sum of multiple dynamic column? For example, my column between S1 and S13, but this column can be changeable. I am trying the code, but I could not get any. Yeah, this is your dynamic query generate. You have to generate this. You have to take a script, because user may select some column and may not want to select some column. So this based on the user's feedback or the users where he has filled the data, you have to generate the query dynamically. There is a page available exclusively for this. That link is available in the description. You can see that, where suppose I don't know the student name, but I want that he is in a particular class 4 is there, then I will select a class 4. In that case, you know that name is not entered, so class is entered. So you have to change the query, think based on the class value, based on the available class value. So these are all dynamically we have to create the query and apply it to the database. So that's why the dynamic query, that page generation is available, and the link is in the description. Calculate the sum of 3 columns while creating a table. Yes, definitely this is, and where you enter value equals the sum of this table with bracket. Fine, definitely it's not a this sum it up, just use sum it up and insert into another table. That exactly the link is available. I think if you have any more questions, use this here. You need not have to give your name, only the question. We are more bothered about your question. So you give your question here, we'll try to answer it, but stick to the subject, because suddenly we cannot discuss PHP or Python here. So based on this subject, you can go to other sections and post your question there.